And so I don't think the online world is a very accurate simulacrum of the real world. In fact, I think it's dangerously demented in many ways, and it's giving us a false sense of reality. You know, it's a new sensory system, right? The whole net and our new means of communication. It's a whole new sensory and social system. And there's no reason to assume that it's actually providing a valid representation of the actual world.
Plainly, it is being used to leverage, engineer, and amplify division.
You know, we've seen that with online games. You know, some of those massive online games degenerated into absolute chaos because the rules by which they were constituted turned out not to engender a playable game. And we have no idea if the internet communication system we've set up is actually a playable game. We have no idea. Like, look, already we do know some things. About 35% of internet traffic is pornographic. And if you don't think that that's under the control of psychopathic criminals, you're a fool. So that's direct criminal activity. Then there's all the online trolls who do nothing but cause trouble and sow divisiveness in their cowardly manner and with their LOL culture, trying to do nothing but cause trouble. We have no control mechanisms for their proliferation online, right? In face-to-face, people like that get shut down right away, but they have absolutely free reign on the net. And I think not only does that poison the public square in a terrible manner, but it also indicates to people falsely that we're much more divided than we are.
What do you think, Jordan? Perhaps the problem is even larger than in enabling narcissistic, predatory and parasitic individuals. Perhaps it somehow enables an archetype to function. For example, the rather hacky analysis that a corporation behaves like a psychopath because it doesn't have individual culpability or the kind of morality that would evolve in an individual. What happens if that is further charged by the type of technology that we're discussing? What if it unlocks something even more powerful than individual psychopathy?
Well, you always ask the hardest questions, Russell, I would say, and that's very interesting. I mean, look, now you asked if there's something archetypal going on under the surface that we're seeing the reflection of, and I would say, well, there's always been something archetypal going on. That's in the nature of archetypes. There's always been a battle between these two modes of existence. But what happens in the midst of a technological revolution like the one we're in now is that it happens way faster and at a much larger scale. And maybe the outlines even become clearer. And people are inclined at the moment to think conspiratorially. They say it's as if there's a cabal behind the scenes maneuvering in a particular direction. And I would say the conspiracy itself is actually a network of associated ideas that have an animating spirit within them that possesses people en masse, and they act in accordance with its dictates. If you read Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, for example, one of the great things he did was to show that the horrors of the communist regimes weren't an anomaly, but the inevitable consequence of a non-playable game.